Hi, I'm Becky Lyons. Welcome to Jesus Speaks in the Book of Mormon and in Dreams. So today we are reading from 3rd Nephi chapter 2. So if you don't remember what happened last time, so Nephi the son of Helaman departed out of the land, and his son Nephi keeps records. Through signs and wonders, the wicked plan to slay the righteous. The night of Christ's birth arrives, the sign is given, and a new star arrives. Lyings and deceivings increase, and the Gadianton robbers slaughter many. So what happened was Jesus Christ was born. So before he was born, the believers, all the people that believed in Christ, the unbelievers told them that they were going to kill him unless the sign happened when Christ was born, and then there wouldn't be any night. Like it would be a day, and then there'd be no night for like 2 days, and there'd be a star. And they said, if that doesn't happen, we're going to kill all of you that believe in Christ. And so it happened. So they're all jumping for joy and so happy and shouting and screaming and hugging, and because they weren't going to be killed, as God came through at the very last second. And so this is the second chapter to continue on with that story. Wickedness and abominations increased when the people, the Nephites and Lamanites, unite to defend themselves against the Gadianton robbers. Converted Lamanites become white and are called Nephites. So it came to pass, thus passed away the 90 and the 5th year also, and the people began to forget all the signs and wonders which they had heard about. They began to be less and less astonished at a sign or wonder from heaven, insomuch they began to be hardened in their hearts and blind in their minds, and began to disbelieve all that which they had heard and which they had seen. So after the signs and wonders, they were not shocked or surprised, and it just became an average thing. And then they let Satan in, not on purpose, and their hearts were hardened, and they were blind to things of God and to the Spirit. Verse 2, imagining up some vain and foolish thing in their hearts, it was wrought by men and by the power of the devil to lead away and deceive the hearts of the people. Thus did Satan get possession of their hearts of the people again, insomuch that he did blind their eyes and did lead them away to believe that the doctrine of Christ was a foolish and a vain thing. So he's implanting them all with the doctrines of the devil, and to believe all the lies that the doctrine of Christ is not true, and that it's a vain and foolish thing to believe in the doctrine of Christ. Let's see that all over today. Verse 3, the people began to wax strong in wickedness and abominations and sin. They did not believe that there should be any more signs or wonders given, and Satan did go about leading away the hearts of the people, tempting them and causing them that they should do great sin and wickedness in all the land. Thus they did pass away the 90 and the 6th year, and also the 90 and the 6th year, and also the 90 and the 8th year, and also the 90 and the 9th year. And also 100 years have passed away since the days of Mosiah, who was a king over the people of the Nephites. And 609 years passed away since Lehi left Jerusalem. And 9 years had passed away from the time when the sign was given, which was spoken of by the prophets, that Jesus Christ should come again into the world. Now the Nephites began to reckon the time period from this time when the sign was given, or from the coming of Christ. Therefore 9 years had all passed away. And Nephi, who was the father of Nephi, who had the charge of the records, did not return again to the land of Zarahemla, and could nowhere be found in all of the land. The people did still remain in their sin and wickedness, notwithstanding that much preaching and prophesying was sent among them, and thus passed away the 10th year also, and the 11th year had also passed away in sin and iniquity. In the 13th year there began to be wars and contentions throughout all the land, for the Gadianton robbers had become so numerous, and did slay so many of the people, and they did lay waste to so many cities. They did spread so much death and carnage throughout all the land. It became expedient that all the people, both the Nephites and Lamanites, should take their arms up against the Gadianton robbers, and that's the secret combinations of the devil. So the Gadianton robbers are going throughout the land. They were killing whoever they wanted to kill. They were destroying cities. And there's so many dead people. They had to do something because they were going to kill everybody. And so the Lamanites and the Nephites were gathering arms together to kill the robbers before the whole population was wiped out by them. Therefore all the Lamanites who had become converted unto the Lord did unite with their brothers, the Nephites, and were compelled, for the safety of their lives and their women and their children, to take up their arms against these Gadianton robbers. Yea, to maintain their rights and their privileges of their church and of their worship and their freedoms and their liberties. So they got together, the Nephites and Lamanites, to fight against the Gadianton robbers, the secret combinations of the devil, so they could retain their freedom, so they could maintain their religious freedom to worship God and to get rid of these. But that's not so easy, because they've been there ever since Cain. Now they're here and are, doing the same thing they've always done. Satan's doing the same crap he's always done. They're in the government. They're trying to take over the world and bring in the new order, and to bring in all of their plans for Satan to take over through the Antichrist. It's all going to happen again. It's already happening. We see the assassination attempts on the presidential candidate happen with JFK. He was assassinated. Anyway, just keep going back through history. It's until Jesus gets here, the secret combinations are going to continue to try to take over. And I cannot wait for Jesus to come so that can finally be over and Satan can be bound. But we can bind Satan in our own lives as well. Anyway, back to the story. Came to pass that before this 13th year had passed away, the Nephites were threatened with utter destruction because of this war, which had become exceedingly sore. These Lamanites had united with the Nephites that were numbered among the Nephites. And thus the curse was taken from them, and their skin became white like the Nephites. So the Lamanites that united with the Nephites, God had lifted, because they became righteous, God lifted up the curse from them, and their skin all of a sudden turned white like the Nephites. That's pretty dang cool. Their young men and their daughters became exceedingly fair, and they were numbered among the Nephites and were called Nephites. Thus ended the 13th year. Then the commencement of the 14th year, the war between the robbers and the people of Nephi did continue and did become exceedingly sore. Nevertheless, the people of Nephi did gain some advantage of the robbers, and so much they did drive them back out of their lands into the mountains and into their secret places. Thus ended the 14th year, and in the 15th year they did come forth against the people of Nephi, because their sin and wickedness of the people of Nephi. Then their many contentions and their dissensions, Gadianton robbers did gain many advantages over them. Thus ended the 15th year, and thus were the people in a state of many afflictions. The sword of destruction did hang over them, insomuch they were about to be smitten down by it, thus because of their sins and iniquities. So that's it for chapter 2 of 3rd Nephi. And only 7 more chapters, Jesus is going to come to visit the Nephites. So pretty quick, we're going to get to Jesus coming. Can't wait for that. Anyway, I will see you tomorrow in chapter 3.